You just send it now, and I
No.
get it. Right, I'm going to put it on gallery view. Okay, well, look, welcome everybody, and
Hello, Freddy.
thanks for putting up with my technical itch. But let me just say what I was going to say. Tonight we're going to be talking about manifesting, and I've only just come into this, so I'm going to tell you now, a lot of what I'm going to be teaching today and tomorrow, I've only learnt today. The best part of it I've learnt today. And I'm going to name a few people, a couple of people. And one is Gayleen. I know I keep mentioning Gayleen to you. And Jessica, when I spoke about you earlier, Gayleen, in the Ikigai presentation, Jessica said she'd like to speak to you. I hope that's okay with you, put you together, because I think that Jessica will get some great, I'm going to say Jessica because Gayleen's way of thinking is completely different to anyone I know. But so what I'm doing today, as I said, is based on the things I've learned over the last few months, but mostly over the last few hours. And then I came into Jessica's presentation, Ikigai presentation. And so we're going to start, if you like, with some of the questions that Jessica asked. And the word Ikigai is reason for being. So I want you to, this is what we're going to get to today. We're going to find your reason for being, your passion, what's fun for you. We're going to find that, and then we're going to eliminate. Today is going to be about eliminating everything that's stopping you from achieving that. So all of the limitations that are placed on us throughout our life. I was talking to Jessica earlier, and I hope you don't mind me keep saying this, Jess, but she said she's one of the things was earning enough. And I said, well, why do you want to earn just enough? Why not just go for wealthy? And then when we say that, I want to be wealthy, or that's part of my Ikigai, my reason for being, people will, all the things that we're taught as kids, that we shouldn't want stuff, we shouldn't, you shouldn't be greedy, all of those things. And so when we ask these questions of ourselves, what we're going to do, we're going to find your reason for being. And then we're going to find out, I'm going to ask you to go in, and we're going to use hypnosis to do it, to search out all of the things that might be holding you back, so we can eliminate those things. And as Gayleen said to me today, when we decide to have a cup of coffee, there's no effort in it. We decide to have a cup of coffee, go and make a cup of coffee. There's no motivation behind it. There's no stress in it. It's something you decide you want to do, and then you just do it. When we think about our goals, that's not the case. We feel we have to be motivated. We have to be a reason for doing it, rather than just making a decision and then doing it. So that's what we're going to get round to tonight. And I did ask Gayleen to speak, but I might, if she wants to speak, she can maybe explain this better than I can. But between Gayleen and what I've learned today and Jessica, what I want all of you to do is find your Ikigai, your reason, your purpose for being. And we can think, as Jess was saying earlier, you can have your vocation, what your vocation is, but if your vocation is not going to give you the money you need, so finding your mission, so we're going to connect these things up so that we end up with what your reason for being is. And then we're going to find how you can make that fun. It has to be fun. It has to be enjoyable. It has to be something that's not going to be hard to do. It might take effort, and you're going to have to take action on it, but that doesn't mean that it's got to be hard or painful to do. So that's where we're going to get to. And so I'm going to ask Jess, if that's all right with you, Jess, just to run through without the board. I mean, Jess makes this board up and it's great, but just to run through the questions. And I want you all to get a piece of paper if you can and write this down. And we're going to take a couple of minutes on each of these questions so that within the next 15 minutes, we can get to the Ikigai. And then we're going to go to that next stage, all right? So can I hand over to you, Jess, to do this?
Yeah.
Just asking the questions, yeah? So
for anybody,
the 8 stages to get to the Ikigai, because I think it'd be better than me trying to explain it. Okay.
Yep. Thank you, Freddie. Can everybody hear me and see me?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So for anybody that is visual and benefits from this is what, when I create an Ikigai, it looks like. So it's a kind of like a board. But what we're going to do is we're going to identify the squares, the rectangles that help us find that Ikigai in the middle. So that middle circle, that's our Ikigai. That's our reason for being. It's Japanese, and its translation closest to English is reason for being. And so it begins by identifying what you love. So if you've got a pen and a pad in front of you, just think what you really love to do in life. Don't worry about anything else, just people, feelings, activities, anything that you do that you enjoy. Play, anything. It doesn't have to have a purpose other than you love it. So anything, that as many answers as come to your mind at this moment. We'll just go through it quickly. And there is no right or wrong answer to any of them. But who was it? I think it was Helen said in the last session that children, teenagers, they just write without thinking. And as adults, we're quite reserved about our responses to these questions. So just try and let that inner child, just whatever comes to your head, write it down. There's no judgment. There's no wrong answer.
And no one's going to see it. No,
No.
it's just for you. So don't think, if you think,
especially,
I love that, but I don't want anyone else to know it. Don't worry about that. Just write it down, all right?
Yeah.
Just take a minute over this, doing this. All done?
It's looking like people are getting there, just watching the screens. And so then the second one, so that one was what you love. And this one is what I am good at. So that's the title of this second box. And this is anything that you're good at. And let go of any reservations that you may have. And the way that I like to think about it is, what do those who love you say you're good at? Hello, dog. I'm doing another one now. 30 minutes? Sorry. You just asked if I'm still going. I'm doing another one. So anything that you're good at, it doesn't have to be... No, again, nobody's judging you on this. And there's no ego. There's no worrying about being big-headed. We all have skills. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to find them. But you need to think about that. I think often this one's more difficult than the first one. So we start with the love to get the momentum, and then the questions get a tiny bit more difficult. They require that little bit more thinking. And we're short for time, so we're going to move on fairly quickly. And the next one is what I can be paid for. So we're moving away now from those passions and the things that we love and that we're good at, but just anything in your life that you've ever been paid for, or that you now think you could be paid for. So you desperately need money, and someone paid me for that at some point in my life, or where I am now, someone will pay me for that. Because no matter how passionate we are, we do need to earn an income and become wealthy, as Freddy said, not just enough. And again, you can come back to this at any time. I'm just doing it quickly this evening, so you get an idea of what you can visualize while you go through the hypnosis, I guess. And the final big box that we're going to work from in a moment to get our smaller boxes is what the world needs. So this fourth one, and this could be anything that you think the world would benefit from. As with them all, there's no right or wrong answers. The beauty of this exercise is that it is unique to you. Freddy had a fantastic one, a controversial one, but yeah, I'll allow you to think for a moment. Think about that better version of the world that we're in now. So we're all in this world together. What do you think would make it that little bit better, a nicer place to live?
Hey, Jessica, this is Sage. Are you talking about something the world needs that we can get paid for?
Not
Yeah.
necessarily, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the
Thank you.
moment, it's anything.
Each question is individual, Sage.
At the moment, everything is individual, and in a moment, we're going to find the crossovers. So we start with these boxes and we fill them up with as many things as we can think of, and then we start piecing it together.
But is it things that we can do whether or not we get paid, or is it things like
Yeah.
what the world needs now doesn't have to be about what you can pay.
world peace?
What you think the world.
Yep. If you put world peace is, yep. If you think the world would benefit from it, it goes in this box.
Okay, thanks.
Just kind of like love, kindness,
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be as broad or as specific as you like as well. And then we're going to work from that. So when everybody's got some things down. We're getting there.
Okay.
Yep. So then we're going to go back to the love box and the what I'm good at box, or notes that you have in your notepad. And then our first smaller one, so going back to what it looks like, we get a crossover in between the boxes, each 4 boxes. And this one is going to be called passion. So this is the crossover between what you love and what you're good at. This is your passion. So looking at the notes that you have on those 2, identify the areas where they cross over. If new things come to your mind, that's absolutely fine too. Things that you both love doing and you're good at doing them, they go here. And
Freddy, there's 2 people, sorry, there's 2 people in attendees, I think, can't get in. Is your mouse working again?
yes, Diana, you can have a question.
All right, let me see if I can get them in while you're doing that. Carry on, Jess. I think they could probably hear me or hear you, but I just can't see them on the screen. What I should have made you co-host. You could have used your mouse on it.
Is Diana in here?
Diana Fabregas.
Yeah.
She's here, but I can't see her.
Okay, because she asked if she can have a question again.
Yeah, I mean, let me just. You can answer she can get in the chat box. You can answer it, but I'd say it's my mouse.
I can't answer it because I don't know what the question is.
All right.
But ask any question you want to ask and I will answer it the best of my ability.
I realise now that my mouse has to be way underneath my desk.
We have 2 Dianas as well, don't we? Diana Whitley just asked a question. And
when you showed us the board, which was the things you love, the big box or the little box?
the things I love was the big box, but don't worry too much about what the boxes look like.
Okay.
It's the bigger boxes cross over into the smaller boxes because there will be less things on passion because you're finding the crossovers of the 2. So that's why when I create the actual one, I had the bigger boxes, then the little boxes, because they just don't need to be as big.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so then
Could you just show the paper once again?
So
can take
great.
we're looking for things that cross over from love and things. What was it? Things I do, things I'm good at.
yeah.
I love things I'm good at. It's going to give you the box for passion. Things you're passionate about, things you're good at, and things you love.
And then
Jessica,
yeah.
sorry, it's Diana. I'm actually in. I'll take half an hour to get in, but I could hear you. But you broke up on the who would pay me or something like that. The third one.
What I
And
can be paid for.
Sorry?
What I can be paid for.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
That's okay. And so now we're going to move on. So to the what I can be paid for, but we're going to combine what I am good at with what I can be paid for. And this
Okay.
one is titled Our Profession. So this is a way that you can earn a living because you're good at it and you can get paid for it. If I just quickly go to my notes. So in the notes that I have here, if we were to just follow our passion, it would leave us with a satisfaction but feeling of uselessness. And if we were to just follow our profession, it would leave us comfortable but a feeling of emptiness. So this is why we're going to connect all the boxes in a moment to get the ikigai. But just making those connections between what you can be paid for and what you're good at. Because obviously the better you are at something, the more you're going to get paid as well, generally. Which allows you more time to do your passions.
Yeah. Oh, for God's sake.
Is it working for you, Diana?
Sorry?
Is it working for
Say
you?
it again?
Is it working?
Absolutely.
Good.
Yes, now it is.
I'm going to mute everyone. If you could just put your answers in the chat box, I'll relay them to Jessica. Otherwise, when everyone
I can
speaks,
see the chat box.
yeah. Let me just
Okay.
if I can get to it. So frustrating this. Yeah.
Right, has everybody got something in their profession now? The crossovers between the what you're good at and what you can be paid for?
Just nod. Good.
Or
Hang on, Jess.
here we go. I'm back. Thumbs
Good.
up.
Okay.
So moving on quickly. You, again, always feel free to come back. And Freddy will be uploading the full recording that I just did. But the crossover between what you can be paid for and what the world needs is the next one. So this is a vocation. So this is something that you feel that the world needs and that you can be paid to do. So it doesn't have to be related to the other things. You don't have to be good at it. You don't have to be passionate. You don't have to love it. But you know that you could be paid to do it and the world would benefit from it. Cool. We're getting the thumbs up. Again, there's usually not too many answers. And it doesn't matter if you only got one thing in there. That's just the one thing that clearly you're very driven towards. If you're good at it and can get paid for it, but it isn't practical in your present life, do you still include it? Yes, because your present life has the ability to change. And this isn't your ikigai, this is just one thing in one box. So I'm not saying that you would need to change your life, but if you're good at it and you can get paid for it, then yes, it can go in there.
And this whole exercise is about creating a life that you want. So it doesn't have to be what's happening right now. This is where you're looking to create what you want. So by writing this down, what we're going to get to is what your core kind of passion is, so that we can find that, and then we'll go into that in the next stage what we're going to do next. But if you carry on with Jess.
So We've got the passion, the profession, the vocation, and the final one, we've got our mission. So this is something that you love and something that the world needs. So this is regardless of money and skill, but this is something that you think, I would love to do that and the world would benefit from it. So this is your mission part of your purpose. I'm saying it with passion. It doesn't have to have passion. It could be something that you think, I really don't want to do that, but the world would benefit from it. And it's by finding the crossovers in these things that we create our ikigai, our reason for being. But anything that you think the world would benefit from and that you would love doing. Lana, there's also a recording of the full session that I did before this, where it's a slightly more in-depth pace. But there will be a recording of this, won't there, as well, Freddie? They'll be both recording tomorrow.
Thanks to Doreen, yeah.
Good. Where is the other? The other recording will be uploaded within the group.
Yeah.
So I ran a session this evening just before this. And Freddie,
I'll do it after this, Jess.
okay.
Do it next so that they've got it. You know, some of you are in the States, you'll have it in your today. The rest of us maybe have it in the morning, and people in Australia have it later this afternoon, in their afternoon. So
Okay.
you'll all have it. And I would suggest, as Jess said, take half an hour out and go over these questions again. We're going to get there because tomorrow night again, the second part of what we're going to do. But I'll explain all it once Jess has finished this thing with you now.
Okay, so moving on quickly, we've got the passion, we've got the profession, we've got the vocation, and we've got the mission. So far, they didn't all have to be connected, but now you're connecting them all. In any way that you can see a connection between all of these boxes, focusing on the 4 smaller ones so you don't overwhelm everything. So focusing on the passion, profession, vocation, and mission, that's where you create that inner circle, that reason for being, your ikigai. There is no right or wrong answer, but by reflecting upon all of these areas and bringing them into one concise answer, that should help you identify what you should be pursuing with your life in the right combination of you love doing it, you're good at doing it, people will pay you to do it, and the world benefits from it. So it has a balanced reason for being. Because I discussed the first 2 and the second 2, if we were to just follow our vocation, we would have excitement and complacency, but a sense of uncertainty. So we'd be getting paid and the world's needs would be being met, but we wouldn't be fulfilling our personal needs. And if we were to just follow our mission, we'd have a delight and a fullness, but we'd have no wealth because we'd be following what we love and what the world needs, but we wouldn't necessarily be good at it and we wouldn't necessarily be being paid for it. And we want to tick all of those boxes to create our ikigai.
Okay.
And if anybody has any questions, please ask.
You all got your ikigai? Yeah, good. Right, thanks, Jess. That was fantastic. Okay, and thanks for coming along. I know your partner's just looks like he's going to take you out somewhere nice. Look, you're all glammed up tonight, and I thought maybe he was taking you out somewhere. But
Just
thanks
not
for
being kickboxing.
All right. Okay, good. Right. So this is what you look like when you're not being kicked.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it doesn't happen very often because I'm nearly always kickboxing. I'm not nearly always kickboxing, but
No, but that was fantastic, Jess. Thanks for doing that. So look, the reason I asked Jess to do this, because I was just going to ask you to think about what you really want, which is a simple statement. And you probably would have thought of something. But then we all think we kind of want the same kind of thing, but kind of cornered into thinking, I should want this and I should want that. And some years ago, I ran a group, maybe 200 people in this room. And I said to them, I said, I want you to, it was about goal setting and about discovering what you really want. And I said, look, I want you all to take your shoes off. Just picture 200 people in a room, men, women. And I said, just take your shoes off and I want you to swap them with the person to your left. Right. So you can imagine what that was like. And I said, I want the person on the left to put those shoes on. And they all kind of laughed. Well, that's ridiculous. I said, well, but the thing is, so the person on your right, those shoes might be the most wonderful shoes they've got. They might be leopard skin high heels. But for the guy sitting next, wearing those leopard skin high heels, he'd feel totally ridiculous. But to the person who's got the leopard skin high heels, they're the most wonderful shoes in the world. And they look fantastic on her. And it's the same. The chances of your shoes fitting the person next to you, or never mind fitting their style, are like a zillion to one. And yet we kind of get pigeonholed into what we should want. And we think we've all got to set the same goals. We all need the same things. We are as different and our goals are as different. And our ikigai is as different as the shoes in the person next to you. Do you understand that? So that's why I've asked Jessie. I want you to get to that ikigai, because the next stage of that is to try it on, to step into that ikigai and feel it. You know, feel into it, as my friend Gayleen would say. Feel into it, because you can look at your ikigai and you might think that sounds really good and that looks really good. But unless you can feel into it, you're not going to discover the reasons for not doing it, the reasons why you haven't done it so far. Because that's what today's going to be about. Today is going to be about eliminating the reasons you haven't achieved that yet. But the first thing to do, and I want you to do this now, and you can do it in hypnosis, out of hypnosis. Look at your ikigai, whatever that might be. I'm trying to think what I wrote down here. Yeah, so all those things, they combine all those things, your passion, your mission, your profession. What was the other thing? Oh, I've lost it. As you, see how organized I am. That's why Diana is next week and not tomorrow, because my organization skills. But you know, your mission, your vocation, your profession, your passion, all of those things that combine, the main things in those things that really kind of get your juices flowing, that create your ikigai. And I want you to now look at your ikigai, your reason for being, and I want you to just try it on. So I want you to do this. I want you to close your eyes and then step into that ikigai and feel what it feels like. Feel into it, as my friend would say, because then you're going to discover the things that don't feel comfortable. And I want you to, when you open your eyes, I want you to write those things down. If it's like a thinking, well, I shouldn't need wealth, or wealth's going to, it means I'm greedy, or it means, you know, people are going to take advantage of me. Whatever the limitations you have around wealth, for one thing, write those down. The reasons that you wouldn't achieve your physical goals, or whatever it is that your ikigai makes up. I want you to just get into that for a moment. Take a few seconds to do it, maybe a minute of just going, I'm going to go quiet, and I want you just to get into that and feel into it and see how it fits and see where it doesn't fit. Look at all the reasons that would stop you from being that, your reason for being. Look at all those things that are popping up, because in a while we're going to delete them all. And understand, if you like, okay, when you're ready, open your eyes, and if you can, write them down before you forget. But you know, again, I was speaking to a friend, and when we set these goals, it's a bit like internet shopping. And you know what it's like. You see something online, a dress or a suit, and it looks really, really great. It does. And I'm speaking to a friend, and she bought this incredible, wonderful dress. I imagine it was online. And when it was delivered and she put it on, she said, it's a beautiful dress, but it didn't have the effect that she really wanted. It didn't have that effect. And it's not until you feel into that dress or feel into that suit that you know this isn't what I really want, even though you can look at it and think that's exactly what I want. It's not till you put it on and you try it on and you realize it fits perfectly, but it just doesn't give me the feeling I want from it. So that's why I'm asking you to step into this and feel into it. Okay, so now you should have any reason, and you can change now. You can look again at your Ikigai. And I picture this horrible little person, to be honest, because Icky in English means kind of, yeah, you know, and it's, so when I talk about an Ikigai, I just kind of, I can't help it, Jess. I get like a golem kind of figure in my mind. So I'm going to try to change that image because I'm sure your Ikigai doesn't look like Gollum. But so I want you to start thinking, if it doesn't fit, understand, like my friend's dress doesn't fit, you can send it back. You can order another dress. You can order another suit. You don't have to just say, right, I've written this down, so now I've got to wear it. No, you feel into it. If it doesn't feel right, you can change it. And you can do that now. And it's an ongoing process because you are evolving. So what might be your Ikigai right now, once you've evolved, once you drop some of your limitations, some of the things holding you back, you're going to see further. And I think it was a guy called Zig Ziglar. He said, with goal setting, you go as far as you can see, because when you get there, you're going to see further. But you go as far as you can see right now. And that's why when we say things like, I want to earn enough money, rather than I want to be wealthy, then ask the questions around that. What's your reason for not just saying, I want to be wealthy? And then tomorrow, I'll get there in a moment. Tomorrow, we're going to get, and I want you over today, while we start deleting all of the limiting beliefs you have around achieving this goal. And then I want you to go over this again. You will do anyway, because I'm going to hypnotize you. You won't have any choice. Little things going to pop up over the next 24 hours. Things, well, oh yeah, that's something else I can add to a thing I love. The thing that what am I good at? These things are going to come up, they're going to bubble up, and you're going to think, I can add that to my list. So I want you to keep this list by you over the next 24 hours. And then tomorrow, we're going to get into that. We're going to manifest. And again, it's all new stuff to me, right? So the words I'm saying, and I'm sure my friend Galen's going to say, you know what, you missed this, or you didn't do that right. But so we're going to manifest. And the way we manifest is by stepping into that now. So instead of saying, I want to be wealthy in the future, feel it now. And then what happens in your body and your mind and body does everything to create that, because as far as it's concerned, it's already happening. It's already happened. And then it's going to maintain it for you, rather than thinking, like I've said before about happiness, I'll be happy when. No, what we've got to do is going to get into it, feel what it feels like. Jess wants to speak on a world stage. And, we spoke about this evening when she was talking about doing this for us earlier. And I said to her, think about what that wealth is going to mean to you. It means you're going to reach more people. It means that people are going to aspire to be Jess. So think about what that means. I'm going to keep saying Galen's name because most of this stuff's come from her. How much fun is creating the wealth you want? How much fun is that going to be? How much fun is it going to be creating the body you want, creating the life you want, the happiness you want? Because if you can get to that point, then all the stress is taken out. This is not something you're working towards. This is something you're living in now. And then your body and your mind, and I'm going to say it, don't say, my son hears me saying it, he's going to boot me out of the college. But, and then the universe will conspire to get it for you because you're living it. It doesn't know anything else. It just assumes that's who you are. And you're going to start your body and your mind will act as if it is. And you'll find yourself just doing it, rather than aspiring to it or waiting for it or planning for it. And this doesn't mean once you've got your Ikigai, it doesn't mean, right, I know how I'm going to feel in that now. I can sit in my lounge and watch TV all day. You've still got to take action. But when you realize how much fun it's going to be, then you're not going to want to watch Coronation Street or Emmerdale Farm or whatever it might be. You're going to want to be up creating the body you want. You want to be up earning the money you can earn. You're going to look at things you're good at and the things you get paid for. And you're going to put those two things together. Think about it in a different way. Instead of thinking, what am I good at? What do I really enjoy? And what do I get paid for? Or what can I get paid for? Because if you can find those two things together, then everything else collapses. And you'll find yourself earning the money you want. What am I good at and what do I enjoy doing? Now, it's simple for me. I like speaking. I love getting paid for it. You know, so I never work. No, it's just not the way it is. I love presenting. I love dressing up, not in strange clothes, but in suits and stuff. I haven't tried that yet. I might try and manifest in it and see, oh, I like it. You never know. But, you know, I like to get dressed up. I like to look great and I like to go out and speak and I like to present. All of these things I get paid for. And the reason I get paid reasonably for it and the reason I get invited all around the world, because I love it and I enjoy it. And I would like to think that people enjoy watching me enjoy it. It's fun. I never get up in the morning and think, oh shit, I've got to go to work today. I never think that. How much fun can I have today?
Freddie, can I speak for a minute? You've missed out a step, right? I might as well put it in now, right?
Yeah.
What you do is you get your goal, right? And you want to be neutral when you get a goal. So you want to be neutral so you know your goal. You want to try it on. But what you have to do, try it on, tweak it if you need to. Is it a current goal or one you made ages ago? So you really may not want to do that goal now. So you want to consider that. But also, you know, how you feel when you achieve that goal and how important, what really is the catalyst to creating the goal too? How important is that goal to you? Write down what that goal is going to give you, because you want to remind yourself how important and how good you're going to feel when you get that goal. It's the same when you create your body. I'm going to feel more alive, more confident. I'm going to do more things and clothes are going to fit. I'm going to feel great about it. And it's going to affect all of my life. So what is the driving force is actually how important is it to me? When we do our housework right, we know it's important, so we do it. We've placed importance on that or something else. And it's that level of importance that makes us do it. So once you remind yourself of how important it is and how good you'll feel and how much fun you'll have when you've accomplished that goal, it becomes really easy because you've taken the struggle out. When something's important to you, you're naturally going to do it. The coffee thing's easy because we all like a cup of coffee. So we consider it, we decide the decision to have it, right? So try it on, then make a decision, I have it. The decision is always, you can try to shut the door, it may not be shut. You decide to shut the door, consider it shut. A decision is completely different to intention. You can intend to shut the door, doesn't happen. You decide to shut it, consider it shut, unless then you can reconsider it and, oh, it doesn't feel that important, then you won't do it. So what we've got to catch ourselves at is when we go to create something, when we consider it and we're tired and we're actually tired, it's not that it doesn't seem so important. Remind yourself it is important and you've got your list of why it's important to you. And when you've got your list of why it's important to you, you remember how much that's going to change your life and how good you feel. And the best part is you've manifested it. So you're also getting confidence as a manifester. The difference between the old world and the new world, which is what creating is about, opposed to having everyone else create it for you or be an effective experience, is you're deciding yourself. The old world told you who you were, told you how much you could have. So when we take the struggle and the stress, that's associated with the old world. So is motivation. When you want a cup of coffee, it's a natural inclination to get up and have it. So we're looking for a natural inclination, not a stress, not a force, not a have to, not a sell your soul thing to manifest. So we just want the natural inclination that goes ahead with the decision. Anything that isn't natural a natural inclination that isn't easy, you don't want. It's outdated. It's not to do with creating. So at this point, you're manifesting from a higher viewpoint, a higher way of being, and you're also learning how you manifest from now. If you've got any doubts of yourself as a manifestor, well, we're all acing that, because whatever circumstance, relationship, money, or lack of money you have in your life is an effect of manifestation. So everything around you, you have manifested. So consider how good you are at manifesting, even if it's something you no longer want, you didn't know you were manifesting. It's an effect of an experience you made a decision about and it's showing up, but you've forgotten it. The difference is that, right, that was a pattern, right? So stop taking it personally and thinking you can't have anything. We're deleting the old pattern and creating a new one. It's common sense approach. Anything you've got in your life that isn't working for you, old pattern. So don't give it too much attention, because whatever is external to you has already been created in the pattern place. So with the subconscious, so we want to deal with the subconscious. So see what isn't working. Don't fight the physical world. It's simply a pattern playing out. There's no point, it's a waste of time. But go find the pattern, reset your decision, remember your decision, and then just become neutral to whatever is upsetting you or you feel is a limitation now. Any questions?
Anyone got any questions? Have you all got that? You know,
Do you need me to go over it? It's what women do. No offense to men, but women are the best at making something, finding what is important. Whatever is important, you're reaching. When you make something important, the reason that's so important, right, is because then your subconscious searches intelligently. When you have to get motivated, you run over people and you cause conflict. And when you have to drive yourself, well, you're going to get old because you're over stressing your system, and driving yourself walks on people, creates conflict, and we don't want opposition. So we're looking for natural inclination, which is the way we now operate, opposed to the way we used to operate, which was detrimental. No fighting, no greed, no lack, no having to beat that person to it. You manifest. And if you manifest, you just need to be at ease. And the neutral state allows you to be yourself. So when you're in neutral, you're open to your highest insight. You're going to follow your natural inclination at being neutral. You get a cup of coffee, you don't get aggressive about it. It's neutral. That's just a really good comparison to know the state to be in to achieve your goals. And when it's fun, remind yourself it's fun, because fun outweighs motivation. Fun actually assists your body to feel good. Being motivated actually will exhaust your body eventually, and you'll go into a polarity of exhaustion. So it's a misinterpretation we have due to the New Age a lot. And it felt right at the time, but long-term motivation can be exhausting. And the natural inclination is in neutral and gives you an ease in your life and actually assists your health. Anything other than that doesn't. So neutral is the right answer, right outcome. Neutral also allows you to be at ease with your next step. There's no limitations, there's no restrictions, and you get to enjoy being you. And when you go to neutral, whatever bothers you, bother is like Velcro, it holds it in. So whenever you think of something and it's bothering you, go into neutral, and that takes the Velcro effect away. The situation will either fall away, or you'll just consider it was never a problem. So neutral is a really powerful state for living. There's much more to it and be aware of the little things in the day. Sometimes the big things are in your face, right? They're easy enough because you see them. It's the little things every day that can have the deepest roots. So you want to start cleaning up your day with neutral and watch that change. And the more confident you become at dealing with these issues, the more confident you become with your life. And making money is fun, right? It is. It's got to be important, because making money is fun because it gives you more experiences, more ability to contribute, and it's just fun. So putting fun on money, because money is one of the words, actually it's equal with cancer, that can make people feel weak. So a lot of us can even say the word money and it weakens us to start with. And sometimes that can even go back to the playground. Anyone who felt good about themselves was sort of, open to being bullied. or judged or put back in their place because you're not allowed to do that, or just felt, you know, the world seems to be wanting to keep people down, the old world. The new world isn't like that. It's letting you be your own authority, you choosing. So yeah, did you want to, I'll give it back to you. If anyone's got any questions, or go back to Freddy.
I mean, has anyone got any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Anita, yeah.
I understand what you're saying about coming from neutral and looking for synchronicities on how you can do things, the small things, and being in the flow. But how do you connect it with the passion and
I think
the
I call it
bigger thing you
inclination.
want?
I have a viewpoint of passion, right? Passion, when you're passionate about something, it sort of makes you a little bit greedy about it. I mean, not because you're overconsumed by it. So we misinterpret what passion meant. You know, I don't want to destruct. Yeah, passion for me, I'd rather natural inclination. Anything that takes you away from the ease and actually hypes your system up is not good for you. It's going to deplete you after, and you give up on the other hand, because you can be passionate about something, get exhausted, give up on it. But when you follow your natural inclination a step at a time, just like when you plan your grocery list and go shopping, just like when you do your housework a step at a time, we want to make it natural so you get to enjoy it. Right? There's no reason you shouldn't. It's the state you do it in. Success in life is simply about the state you do anything in, whether it's doing the dishes or give a talk. You know, when you give a talk, you want to be in a state of ease where you enjoy it. And there's no reason you should make one moment better than the next. You know, we think one thing will make us important, which is telling the subconscious you don't have that now, right? You want to think, no, I'm going to feel good now. Like when you say you don't have something, notice it, because the subconscious is going to say, well, you don't have it. But when you make your decision and then you're neutral to having it or not, you just live, you know, you don't let anything consume you. But as humans, right, we manifest by a decision. The only issue we have now is we might have 1,000 decisions and they're opposed to each other. That's why Freddy's asking you to consider any discomfort when you consider trying what you want on. Because we may have made decisions about the goals we want now with reasons that really weren't based on the intelligence we have now, but at the time, the level of information we had at the time. And most of them will be destructive to us because it was based on other people controlling our lives more so than where we're at now. So, you know, we're going to have conflicting decisions about wealth. So the subconscious will bring them up. When you make a new decision, the subconscious spits out the old decisions so you can clean them out and neutral, you know, just decide not to have them, delete them. So deleting and neutral are going to be things you use normally every day. So don't just use them on the odd thing. You want to be constantly doing, because it takes a second. And it gives you the power of your life without stressing yourself. You don't need to be bothered with other people anymore or their control, because you can delete the effect on you. So you're not going to waste time with opposition. We don't want to create opposition to our goals. So be neutral to, you know, don't get into an argument. It drags you down. When you get angry, it creates havoc in your energy field. It's like a disconnect. So the reason you go to neutral, because any frequency that drops you is going to create something in your reality that matches that frequency. So if you go into a rage, you're actually putting something in your frequency field that's going to bring in a situation that matches it. You don't want to waste your time. So a really good catalyst to start using neutral more is to realize that when you go into anger, even sadness, they're low frequencies. Fun is a high one. You know, when you have fun, you're feeling alive. So as soon as you get into a state that is not at ease, that you don't feel good about, you want to go into neutral straight away to get your balance back. It can save your life. If you're anxious, you make mistakes. A heart attack is a major anxiety attack. So you can clean up on things really quickly. And you also are starting to learn, when they say you create your reality, you're starting to understand that you really do create your reality. You just didn't grasp how it worked. It's as easy as that. And we've all been doing it. We just haven't understood how much impact we're having on our lives by going into these states. A trick state for us, and this is really difficult, If we have a down feeling, someone's put us down, rejected us, and we feel really bad, but we flick into a state that feels really good, but it's based on a negative, I'm going to get you back. So you really have to assess the states you're in and the outcome you achieve when you normally go into those states, so you can delete them without creating another mess. That's the hardest thing to do because of that negative fear. Well, it's a negative self-confidence appearingly, but it's based on a negative. So assess any states that feel good, even in case they are one of those flip side states, because after that state, you'll flip back. And you don't want, you know, if we can clean those up, you start to feel better all the time. There's no need to have to live in those states or the polarities of states.
I have a question. How do you make yourself, or what would you advise to make yourself comfortable with something what you are not comfortable with? I could pick, for example, those shoes. Okay, let's say I've never been wearing the high heels, for example, yeah, and I had to put them on. First, they feels weird, but at the time, I just feel, oh my God, I look cool, sexy, beautiful, and I start wearing. But if I take, for example, money, if I have those beliefs, limiting beliefs since my family and interests, and it sits really deep, how do I make myself comfortable with something which is deeper?
Can everyone consider how they feel about money? You know, excited, overexcited, which is telling the subconscious you don't have it. You really don't want to go into excitement because that tends to come from the nervous system. Feeling good and fun is different. You can feel it's an inner. If anything goes to an outer thing, it's an issue. So everyone feel how they feel about money. You got it? So you want to just go to neutral of anything that bothers you. So any bothersome feeling, fear of money, overexcitement, resentment, they have it, but I don't. I want it. And because we are, as a product of the old world, we are going to have greed in us. We're going to have resentment. We're going to have wanting to take a cheap shot and take it off someone else. Not because we're bad. That doesn't make us bad. So the issue is we tend to hide them. So we want to bring up all of the mud and not judge ourselves about it. Because when you're a product of that world, you're told what you can't have. And that does build resentment. That does build unfairness. And then because we're not meant to socially show that, we bury it. So we want to bring up all the things we've buried and be okay about it when we understand why we're feeling like that. So no more making yourself bad. It's interesting. Interesting covers everything without buying into it. So view all what you think, oh, you know, oh, that was a horrible thing to think. You think, no, I'm not going to put myself down. Let's just delete it. Because as a product of the whole world, we even take on the collective attitudes of the world. And if someone attacks you, it impresses in your system. And now you've got that availability to you that you may use. So while you're judging the attack was bad, you know, there's at times you may use that same resource. So we want to stop judging, because judging, blame, they're all patterns. Complaining, criticizing, even defending is a weakness, because while you're defending something, you're not present for you. And even the word present, we just want to use show up, because present can, you know, give us a different viewpoint of what present is, but you want to show up for your own life. And stop making yourself bad. Stop pretending. If something's upsetting you, that's a bother, like shoes. If shoes are uncomfortable, that's bothering you. You delete the bother, right? That's it. Don't go into the story so much. There's a time to go into the story if you're unwinding, but as soon as you tell a story, you're enforcing this, you know, you're enforcing that story to keep repeating. So listen to what you're saying and asking yourself, do I really want to solidify that more in my life? And what you give attention to solidifies it in your life. So consider what you're, you know, even looking at American politics, which we've all done, right? You don't want to go too much into that and judge it or criticize, because you'll bring those effects of that into your life, and that'll be happening around you in your relationships. So be aware of what you're giving attention to, because you're going to bring it into your life and solidify it. Making sense? Yeah, it does make sense. That's just it.
Well, you know, you all know, because we've worked on this, how to get back to neutral. You know, we did it just the other night with the TPM. So you know how to get back to neutral. And we also know now, when you look at the reasons you've not manifested. Well, you have as Galen said, which didn't occur to me till she said it today. We're already manifesting. Where you are right now, you have manifested that. So you're already really good at it. You've just got to learn how to do this consciously, so you can manifest what you absolutely want. And so I'm hoping that when you've looked at that Ikigai and you've gone, okay, these are the reasons I wouldn't do it. We now know, and I've said to you again over the last few weeks, ask yourself the question, when did I make that decision that manifested that in my life? Who was I with? Where was I? How old was I? And was it even my decision? And then when you realize that that decision is no longer viable, it's obsolete, then I've shown you how to do this now. Just blink twice and delete it. And as Galen was saying, over this next day, over these next 24 hours, lots of things are going to come up now that we've opened this can of worms. Lots of things are going to come up. And when they come up and you look at them, you can do this in seconds. You don't have to do this, go to a therapist with each of these decisions, have it over 3 months, get rid of it. You can just think, when did I make that decision? Is that aligned with who I am now? And all of you, and I mean it seriously, you've been on this journey with me for the last 7 weeks now, and you are not the same person that you were 7 weeks ago. Is anyone in here that's been on this little journey for 7 weeks feel like exactly the same as they were 7 weeks ago? No, none of you. And this is in 7 weeks. You know, so think you've been, your whole life, you've been manifesting up until where you were 7 weeks ago. You already evolved in the last 7 weeks. The way you think about yourself, the way you feel about yourself, the appreciation you have for yourself now, all of these things have helped you evolve from where you were 7 weeks ago. And so now when you're looking at your Ikigai, and your Ikigai may have been based on how you've been thinking for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And you can go, okay, then I'm looking at it again from where I am now. Take that breath. Remember your worth. Remember your value. Remember how much you love yourself. Remember that you don't need anything outside of yourself. You're already a whole being. And from that point of view, you can have another look at that list. And you'll probably find these are the things I really love. These are the things that I'm really good at. These are the things I could get paid for. And these are the things that I think, you know, the world needs. And from that new standpoint, and I know you're in a different point, I know you are, and you're going to continue because you can't not change. And we cannot not communicate. If I sat here with a brown paper bag on my head, I'd be communicating something. We cannot not communicate, but we're communicating with ourselves all the time. You've got to recognize that the way you're thinking now is different. And when things come up, we don't have to put up with it anymore. We can just go delete. That's no longer who I am. It's no longer part of who I am. It doesn't fit me. It doesn't give me the feeling that I thought it would. So I'm going to change it, or I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to send it back. You don't have to live with these things. And so now you've got this your Ikigai. And so, and I want you to think about this over the next 24 hours. We've gone over the hour now, I didn't realize. But, you know, over these next 24 hours, just allow your mind, without trying, without giving it any kind of stress, just allow your mind to open up, and your things will come up and you'll think, well, that's no longer viable. When did I make the decision? Delete it. Delete it. And you can be doing this tens, hundreds of times over the next 24 hours, deleting all of those things that you thought you were, that had been holding you back, that were never your decision in the first place, were placed on you by the world, or by people in your life, someone else's opinion. And you're going to go delete, delete, delete until you get down to your Ikigai, because tomorrow we're going to step into that, and then we're going to feel it. And that's what we're going to do tomorrow when we get together. But by then, I want you to have an absolute, this is where I'm at. This is my Ikigai. This is my reason for being. You know, love, passion, pleasure, you know, money, all of the things that you should, you know, it's your privilege to have that stuff. if there is a God, and I'm not too sure, but if there is a God, I don't believe he wants you to suffer. I don't believe that the world wasn't given wonderful things for you not to have them. So you've got to say, I want it. Why would I not want that? And if you are saying I don't want it, then go inside and ask the question. And if the reason you're saying, well, I don't want to be wealthy, or I don't want to look as incredible, I don't want to have whatever it is you put down when we started this journey, then I want you to get in and go the reasons. Look, dig into the reasons and ask when you made the decision that this wasn't where I want to be. And just go, okay, it's no longer viable, it's obsolete, delete it. Until you get down to who you are right now. Not who you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 weeks ago, but who you are right now. So you can go, this is what I really want. This is where I'm at. This is what brings me fun. This is what makes me feel, brings fun into my life. And as Galen said, you know, if this is, I don't quite know how she put it. If it's easy, if you're not stressful, what was the word you used when something is just
Natural inclination.
Natural inclination.
It's just a natural inclination, yeah, and yeah, but it is. We always, and that's how easy it is, because you feel it and you feel to do it, and even when every time a bother comes up, you just delete it, right? So if things don't feel right, because they aren't right, right? So if something doesn't feel right, don't do it. But you can get neutral. If it still doesn't feel right, don't do it. Being goal setting isn't based on stress or have to or being impatient. If you're impatient for a goal and you're rushing into it, you're being an effect, right? You're not being at neutral. You're not being a creator, right? If you're a creator, you're neutral. You've got all the time in the world. There's things to do after this. We're here to have experiences. You're completely successful at the moment anyway. The goal of being on the earth plane is to have experiences. So there's not one person in the world who isn't successful. Nobody's life is more important than anybody else's. So if you've got people up on pedestals, just delete those decisions to do that, because you're feeding them power at your expense. So never make anyone more or less than you. You make them more, right? You're giving them your power. You're creating a bright picture of them. Be even. Treat every person that comes in your life, right? Be appreciative for what you're learning. You might learning, no, I don't want this experience anymore. You know, but it doesn't matter. Be neutral to anger, neutral to aggression, because the issue with the world today is we've made opposition by separating, right, and judging. Where when I say don't defend, which I said defending is a weakness, when you're neutral, you go on natural inclination. So if anyone's, you know, going to hurt you, you're entitled to, you know, support yourself there, but that's going to be a natural inclination, opposed to when you defend, you get an ego effect. So be aware of when you're role playing. When you judge, right, you become someone else, and you freeze frame that in your body. You'll find a restriction or limitation goes in your body when you judge. When you criticize, you're keeping upset in your field, and people can feel it. It's like, you know, when you're walking through and there's anger, you can feel it. So people are picking up on when you're judging them, and there's going to be a counterbalance at some point to that. I kind of, yeah, natural inclination, right? Okay, yeah. I'll give back. I would be here all day. Okay.
So once you find your ikigai, then you'll have a natural inclination to move toward it, and so it'll be easy. Like when you make the decision to have a cup of coffee. Don't need motivation for it. You don't need any stress involved. You make it a simple decision. You have an inclination to have a cup of coffee, and you just do it. And what we're saying here is that once you've found your ikigai, I'm using this word a lot tonight, Jess. I never even knew what it meant earlier on today. But once you've found that, your reason for being, once you've found that, then you get a natural inclination towards moving towards it. And if you manifest it by thinking, feel what it feels like now, feel that fun in it, then everything about you is going to work towards it without, and I'm even going to use the word work, is going to be inclined towards achieving that for you. So I hope you've enjoyed this evening. And thanks to Jess, thanks for Galen for doing this. And thanks for everybody, because I say, you think you get to my age and I couldn't learn anymore, but I am learning more over these last few weeks from being around all of you, and you're, you know, things, Eileen bringing her grandsons into it, you know, people that talk to me, speaking to Diana, speaking to Jackie, seeing where she's come on this journey, speaking to Luba, you know, people that I've met and care about, all of these people, you know, Nella's story, all of you are having an effect on me. So, you know, let's all get into that. Just understand that if there's pleasure to be had, and there's money to be had, and there's joy to be had, let's get a natural inclination towards wanting that, or not even wanting it, just incline towards it, if it's going to make our life better. Because if it's going to make our life better, then it's going to make the people around us better. If I'm feeling good, the people around me are going to feel good. But we've run into time, and not that time matters to me, but I know some of you can't have other things to do, and some of you are in different time zones around the world. So thanks again, Jess, for doing that and taking part in this. And I hope what I said made kind of sense to what you're doing. Jess added some hypnosis to hers as well tonight, and we haven't had time to do that. But tomorrow, as I said, you should have by tomorrow an absolute understanding of your reason for being. And then we're going to manifest that by hypnotizing you and stepping into that. Because if you can feel into it, as my friend Galen says, if you can feel into it and you can say that feels like fun, then you're going to be inclined towards it. And then you'll know if it's not fun, if it's not what I really want, then I can change it. I can get UPS, take it back. You know, you can change it. None of this is set in stone, because you're evolving. Or what might have looked good on you a year ago or 10 years ago, you might think, that looks good now. So that's the way it is. Our goals change. What we feel and what we need change. It's changing all the time. It's changing rapidly because of this group. For me, it is anyway, and I know it is for you. So just think about it. Don't even think about it. Your unconscious mind, just your mind, be inclined to finding the negative reasons for why you've not achieved that already, or look at your Ikigai and go, oh, my unconscious mind, just over the next 24 hours to come up with any reasons, any opposition to me achieving this. And as those things come up, do what I have asked you. Just say, we're going to make that decision. Is that still viable? Delete. And you'll find yourself doing it. But you now know how to go to neutral. When the thought comes up, go to neutral, look at the decision, and then delete that old decision, and then create a new decision from neutral, where you're thinking straight and where you can make those right decisions, take the right action, create that right outcome for yourself. So I know it's a lot to take in tonight, but if we get this right, then there are no limits for us. As I said, tomorrow, I hope you're going to join me tomorrow, and we'll get into stepping into that future self and creating it so it's not a future self. It's how you're feeling and how you're living right now in this moment. Okay, so I'm going to say good night to you all. Thanks, Galen. Thanks, Jess. Nice to see you all. Nice to see you, Ellen.
Can I just say good night? But I need a new link. Is that possible? Because I can never get in.
Well, let me contact me before. No, I haven't got anyone before you tomorrow, for the 9 o'clock thing tomorrow. So I'll send you. Are you on the Facebook group?
Yeah.
Right. Well, what I'll do is I'll send you the link, and we can try and get in earlier, just to make sure it works.
Well, I was here at 5 to 9.
Yeah, and I don't know what's happening there, Diana.
No.
But we'll sort it out
I've
for
got
tomorrow.
the link, but it doesn't work.
Okay, we'll sort it out for tomorrow. Hi, Elizabeth. Nice to see you all. Saturday night, Nella. Hope it's
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
And Anita, notice you spoke tonight. No problem. We sorted out Anita's public speaking problem the other day.
All right.
And how's your pain? Your pain still gone, Diana?
Not completely, but it's gone from 8 to 2, which is wonderful.
Well, fantastic. Okay, great. Okay, nice to see you all.
Thank you.
I'll speak to you again. Good luck with your 3-day course, Diana.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
See you soon. Bye all.
Bye, Freddy. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.